Please note, the interview highlights a critical issue within the educational system, focusing on the impact of harsh disciplinary measures on students' mental health and overall well-being. By redacting specific names and language, the emphasis shifts from individual blame to broader discussion on systemic practices that may inadvertently contribute to student trauma. The narrative underscores the importance of reflection and reform in academic environments, encouraging stakeholders to consider the long-term effects of the punitive measures. This approach aims to spark dialogue and inspire the development of compassionate and effective strategies that prioritize students' growth and resilience, ultimately fostering a healthier, more supportive education community. To start, can you give me your name and that you consent to this interview?
My name is Skye Missick.
Speak up.
My name is Skye Missick, and I consent to this interview.
Talk normally from now on.
Okay.
So this interview is to talk about your experiences with the school system in Turks and Caicos. Your experiences, what you took from it, any effects that you feel afterwards.
Okay.
So, where would you like to begin?
Uh,
Do you remember which schools you went to?
yeah, I went to. Well, I only remember. Was it Richmond Hill?
Yeah. Do you
Yeah,
remember Ashcroft before that?
very, very vaguely.
Okay. Do you remember having a good time in Ashcroft or not?
Oh yeah, I had a blast at Ashcroft.
Okay, but once you got to Richmond Hills, you didn't like it?
Oh, definitely not.
All right. Can you explain your experiences?
No. Well, for one, with my sisters and I being some of, if not the only white kids there, we were very much the minorities, which I mean that's fine given the locale that lives there, but it did make us perceptible to a lot of bullying.
Did anybody know that your father was a local, or did they just see your mom pick you up from school and automatically assume that you were fully Caucasian descent?
Oh no, our dad definitely picked us up from school here and there. He was visibly a local, so I just think it was just because of the way we looked and not because of.
Because you were very light skinned to come across as of Caucasian descent, correct?
Absolutely.
Okay. So what was your experience in school like? Did you receive bullying from the teachers, students?
Oh yeah, bullying, the whole 9 yards. There were a couple good people there, like the cafeteria lady. She was amazing,
Yeah.
and some of the teachers there were pretty great. But the only name I remember is the principal, Mrs.
And why is that?
Because she was the worst of it all.
Can you give an example of incidents?
I personally didn't have too many interactions with her due to the fact that I never had her as a teacher, I think. But I've heard a lot of stories from my sisters that are pretty bad.
Yeah, like what?
Like how my younger sister had a hard time with spelling.
Can you give her name?
My sister Raven. She, from what I remember her saying, she had a hard time with spelling, and Miss her, I think, grade 3 teacher. And I guess her method of correcting Raven's spelling issues was forcing her to not have lunch and sit outside her house, which is right next to the school, because she owns the school. But she would have her sit outside her home and rewrite words and then go up to her and spell them back to her. And if she got any of them wrong, she'd have to sit down and rewrite those words and do it over and over again until she got it right, and she wasn't allowed to have lunch until she finished.
Did you personally receive any corporal punishment?
Um, From other teachers, I have.
And what did that entail?
Mainly just physical things like being hit with a ruler or a wire, or say being forced to stand in a corner with my arms up, that kind of thing.
And why was it that you received these punishments?
Mainly due to I think it was mainly because when I was younger, I tend to stay quiet and keep my head down. But if, say, I'd given the wrong answer to something, and the teacher was particularly in a bad mood that day, I would get a whack. Or if I failed to participate or complete an assignment or an activity, I would get hit or made to stand in a corner.
And so those would be the level of punishment you would receive.
Yeah, generally because I would keep my head down. I would do my best to stay out of trouble, since I saw and heard things that my other siblings had to go through.
And you never told your parents?
To be honest, I just thought it was normal, so I didn't think I would need to tell them anything.
You thought that they already knew you were going through that?
Yeah, honestly.
Okay. And when they did find out, what did your parents do?
By the time they found out, we were already out of the country, so there wasn't really anything they could do.
Okay. You said that you blocked out a lot of it. Is that why you feel you have trouble remembering things in detail?
Yeah, there are some particular bits I remember, like uh Miss have a parrot, and I would play my recorder to the parrot and it would sing along. That was pretty fun.
Oh, so some good moments.
Yeah, there were some good moments, but not too many of them. We didn't have a lot of friends.
You and your sisters didn't have a lot of friends?
No, I think that does stem to the whole like bullying, visible minority type stuff.
Okay. Anything else you want to give about that experience?
Um, there was a bit of it back in what was the first school again?
Ashcroft?
Ashcroft. Yeah, there was a little bit of it in Ashcroft, but it wasn't all that bad. Just some light teasing here and there.
Yeah.
But once we got to Richmond Hill, it really.
Do you think it was because Richmond Hills was a predominantly black school and you stood out, as opposed to the Ashcroft school, which was more of like for upper class whiter kids there that were living on the island?
I don't remember there being a lot of white kids at all in either school.
Yeah.
But I think a lot of it from Richmond Hill was because of that, and also due to the fact that I was a pretty quiet, awkward kid. So I was definitely an easier target for the more aggressive kids there.
And you think it affected your education and how you learned, your experiences, even when you came to Canada? Yes or no?
Oh, absolutely. I didn't like any of the kids. I didn't trust anyone. It was a really big culture shock coming here and seeing how disrespectful and rowdy the kids here were to the teachers. Whereas if they had done any of that back at Richmond Hill or any other schools there, they would have been thoroughly dealt with and disciplined. So it was very much a culture shock.
Now, your younger sister mentioned how her appearance, her tidiness, was constantly picked at by Mrs. Van Hills. And her appearance, she was taken out of class often, and the lunch lady had to do her hair, fix her up before she could attend classes again. Did you have any experiences where you were nitpicked to about your appearance, your dress?
No, nothing like that really happened. Again, I think mainly due to the fact that I kept my head down and did my best to stay out of trouble or not be seen, because I knew things like singling out was being done.
Okay.